How are you holding up without sports? So the way that I've been talking about it is that I really miss the events that have been canceled. So I'm sad about
Yeah,
no NCAA tournament, the Masters, playoffs, opening day, but I'm not missing the what's going to happen aspect of sports. I feel like I've got a lot of uncertainty in my life. I don't need the uncertainty of who's going to win and who's going to lose, but I am sad about not having the actual events. How are you dealing with it?
I would agree with that. I miss the social aspect. I miss going to Avs games and Nuggets games with friends. Definitely kind of miss having something to follow. I've watched a lot less highlights than I thought I would. When this started, I thought I was going to be every night get on NFL Game Pass and watch something or something like that. But really, only have done that a couple times. So that's been a surprise. I don't know how you've been on that front.
Yeah, I've so right away, DNVR was streaming the 2001 Stanley Cup. So I was like, this will be great. I'll watch that. And then I remembered that the NHL in 2001 was terrible. They stop every 15 seconds and then they take a minute break. There was no like we got to hurry up and do a face off. It was like everybody rest now that we have had that 15 seconds. And so the game is still good when there's action, but there just isn't that much action and it was dragging on. I sort of felt that way about all of the sports. The only one I watched about 10 minutes last night of Game 3 of last year's 2019 NHL playoff series, Flames versus Avs, the game where McKinnon scored 2 goals and then McCarr scored his first goal in his first game. That was exciting, but also like the pace is better. So I think that one thing I'd like to come out of this is a better way to rewatch old games where like you get all the action, you get a little bit of this context, but you don't have to sit through the
Yeah,
mechanics.
yeah. I mean, it's like 2 hours is a long time to sit down and watch a game that you know what's going to happen, or that just in the back of your head you're saying, I know this isn't real. I know this isn't actually live right now. So,
Are you
um,
someone that can tape a game that you didn't see and then watch it afterward?
I've like done that once in my life. Like I've done it in extreme situations, but like in general, no.
For a couple years, I was trying to do this column where I would try to track the momentum of a football game. And so I would try to watch the Broncos games again. And I just did not have the energy to be like, when did the momentum change in this game? I was like, I don't
Yeah,
have any momentum. We need a better way to just like watch the exciting moments of these games and not
yeah,
just the
yeah,
drag it out. So
yeah. And I think some people have tried to find that balance where you don't watch the whole game, you don't watch just the highlights, but they put in enough to like get the storyline and get the like it wasn't a highlight, but it's like showing that helps you build up, and so you get maybe a quarter or a third of the game or something. And I think that's a good way to go about it.
yeah, I like that idea. I do think, and I mean, documentaries are great, but they're so time consuming.
Uh
And
huh.
like action, part of the problem with a lot of the documentaries is we know most of the things that happened. Like there isn't a lot of surprise. And so how do you add that element into all of this is confusing. Um, the other thing that I think is just so interesting to follow is all of the crazy plans that are coming out for all of these leagues. Um, there have been several proposals of either all of baseball going to Arizona and just playing the entire season in the spring training facilities, or doing an Arizona and Florida plan, which also be interesting. So in that scenario, there's a chance the Rockies wouldn't even be in the Dodgers division. That sounds great to me. I also have enjoyed looking at what college football is thinking about because they're really freaking out because college football is the driver for every athletic department in the country. If you don't have college football and it's regularly scheduled and played out scenarios, like there's a lot of money on the line. And so there's been
Oh yeah.
everything from starting in June to starting in January. Have there been any of these proposals that you really liked from the world of almost playing sports?
Um, I mean, I like anything that gets us back to having sports. So there's that. I've thought like some sports probably seem a lot easier than others. I pitched the idea, just kind of was brainstorming, but could they make a baseball slash slow pitch softball, kind of merge the two sports and get it where you actually keep the players 6 feet apart at all times? And so when I played slow pitch softball, they would have a safety home plate, and it was always a force out at home, and you would run the player would run towards one base and the catcher would be standing on a different base 6 feet apart. And could you do that with all the bases and somehow make it, you're always forced to run or something, and it's still baseball, and maybe you don't even have a catcher and it's just balls and strikes are automatically called, and they're going straight into some backstop thing, and then they get sanitized after every pitch and
Wow.
stuff. So,
Would
and
it
it's
even
like
be baseball at that point? Like, would
it,
you?
it would be definitely different, and I'm not going to say it's better than baseball, but if it's that or nothing, I would have to take this hybrid slow pitch softball game over nothing. So